The airport terminal buzzed with the hum of 1,000 lives colliding, but for Marcus Tate, it was the sound of his dignity shattering. They dragged him from first class like a criminal, his tailored suit no shield against their sneers. Marcus, a 42-year-old tech CEO, had boarded Flight 827 with the quiet pride of a man who'd clawed his way from a Chicago tenement to a corner office. His company, Nexus AI, was reshaping the world, but to the flight attendant with the pinched face, he was just a black man who didn't belong in first class. "Sir, you're in the wrong seat," she'd snapped, her voice dripping with assumption. Marcus presented his boarding pass, his name embossed in gold, but her eyes narrowed. "This can't be right," she said, signaling security. The passengers around him shifted uncomfortably, some averting their eyes, others whispering. Within moments, two burly guards flanked him, their hands hovering over batons. "Let's go, sir," one growled, as if Marcus were a threat, not a paying customer. The humiliation burned as they escorted him down the aisle, past rows of staring faces. Marcus kept his head high, his jaw tight, but inside, rage and shame waged war. He'd faced prejudice before subtle slights, coded language, but this was raw, public, undeniable. At the gate, the airline manager, a man with a cheap tie and cheaper morals, doubled down. "We have the right to refuse service," he said, citing a vague policy. Marcus's protests were met with a smirk. "You're causing a scene, sir." A scene? Marcus thought. They hadn't seen a scene yet. He pulled out his phone, his fingers steady despite the tremor in his heart. Nexus AI wasn't just a company. It was a network, a digital empire with tendrils in every industry, including aviation. Marcus had built it from nothing, coding late nights in a cramped apartment, fueled by dreams and defiance. Now, as he stood in the terminal, surrounded by gawking strangers, he tapped into that empire. A single post on X, his words sharp and unyielding. "Thrown off Flight 827 for being black. Nexus AI will respond. Justice now." He hit send, and the digital world ignited. Within minutes, the post went viral. Passengers on the plane began filming, their videos flooding clips of the flight attendant's sneer, the guard's aggression, the manager's dismissive wave. Hashtags multiplied. Boycott Star Air, racism in the skies. Marcus's followers, millions strong, amplified his voice. Nexus AI's algorithms, designed to detect patterns, now tracked a different kind of data, outrage. Employees at Star Airlines headquarters watched in horror as their stock plummeted, their servers overwhelmed by a coordinated surge of complaints. Marcus's team, loyal and fierce, had mobilized, pulling strings only a tech titan could. Back at the gate, the mood shifted. Passengers, emboldened by Marcus's stand, began questioning the airline staff. A young woman, her voice shaking but firm, demanded answers. Why was he removed? "Show us the policy." Others joined in, their phones raised, capturing every stammered excuse. The manager's smirk faded as his radio crackled with urgent orders from above. Marcus stood calm, his eyes locked on the chaos he'd unleashed. He wasn't just a man anymore. He was a movement. 10 minutes after his post, the unthinkable happened. Star Airlines' entire system booking, check-in, scheduling crashed. Nexus AI's cybersecurity division, acting on Marcus's silent command, had exposed vulnerabilities in the airline's outdated infrastructure. Flights grounded, screens blanked, and passengers erupted in frustration. The terminal became a battleground of voices, some cheering for Marcus, others cursing the airline. A wooden signpost near the gate, hastily scribbled with bold marker, read, "Racial injustice sparks fury." It stood like a beacon, raw and real, amid the turmoil. Marcus didn't revel in the collapse. His fight wasn't for revenge, but for reckoning. He stepped forward, addressing the crowd. "This isn't about me," he said, his voice steady, resonant. "It's about every person who's been judged, dismissed, dehumanized. We're done being invisible. The terminal fell silent, his words cutting through the noise. A white-haired woman, tears in her eyes, approached him. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't speak up sooner." Marcus nodded, his anger softening. Change, he knew, started with moments like this. By the time Star Airlines CEO issued a public apology, it was too late. The company's reputation lay in ruins, its board scrambling to salvage what Nexus AI's wrath had dismantled. Marcus boarded a private jet that evening, arranged by allies who'd seen his post. As the plane soared above the chaos, he looked out at the fading lights of the city. He'd won, but the victory was bittersweet. The system that allowed this to happen still stood, its roots deep and stubborn. Back on the ground, the wooden signpost remained, its handwritten message a testament to the fire Marcus had ignited. X buzzed with stories of others black, brown, marginalized sharing their own encounters with prejudice. Nexus AI pledged to fund legal battles against discriminatory practices, and Marcus vowed to keep fighting, not just for himself, but for those who'd never have his platform. The airline's collapse was a warning. Justice delayed was no longer justice denied. In the end, Marcus Tate didn't just shut down an airline. He reminded the world that power, when wielded with purpose, could topple empires. And somewhere, in the quiet of a new dawn, a young coder in a cramped apartment saw his story and began to dream. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.